Commander Jack Nelson stood tall before the Galactic Council chamber. The massive room buzzed with the sounds of 200 alien species. Some had tentacles, others had wings. Many had multiple eyes that all stared at the lone human. Jack kept his face calm even though anger burned inside him. Behind him stood Lisa Wright, the Admiral of Earth's Defense Fleet. Her hand rested on her ceremonial sword, knuckles white from gripping too hard. "The Council has made its decision," announced Zorak, the blue-skinned Centaurian leader. His voice boomed through the chamber. "Human expansion into the Orion Arm is hereby limited to 3 star systems. This is final." Jack stepped forward. 3 systems cannot support our growing population. We need at least 10, as we requested." Laughter rippled through the chamber. A squid-like delegate waved its tentacles. "Humans breed like bacteria. Perhaps you should control your numbers instead of demanding more space." More laughter followed. Jack felt his cheeks grow hot, but kept his voice steady. "The Proxima B colony was attacked yesterday. Pirate raiders killed 300 human settlers. We asked for Council protection 6 times before the attack." "Unfortunate," said Zorak with a dismissive handwave. "But piracy is a natural risk of frontier life." Admiral Wright stepped forward. "Those pirates used Centaurian weapons, the same weapons your government sells despite Council regulations." The chamber erupted in angry shouts. Zorak banged his gavel. "You dare accuse us without proof." Jack pulled out a data chip. "Here is your proof. Weapon fragments, ship identification, financial records, all pointing to Centaurian government officials who profit from these attacks." Zorak's face darkened to deep purple. "This is an outrage. Humans have always been problem makers since joining the Council, always questioning our 10,000 years of peaceful rule." "Peaceful for whom?" Admiral Wright asked quietly. Her calm voice somehow cut through the noise. "In 50 years of membership, humans have stopped 3 genocides within Council space. We've developed vaccines for 12 deadly diseases. We've shared technology that has improved life for billions. And yet, when we ask for help, we are ignored." Jack nodded to Wright and faced the Council again. "Humanity did not join the Council to be second-class members. We joined as equals." "Equals?" A bird-like delegate chirped. "Your species only achieved spaceflight 3 centuries ago. Some of us were exploring stars when your kind still lived in caves." Jack pulled out an official document with the Earth government seal. "By unanimous vote of Earth's Global Senate, I am instructed to deliver this message. As of today, Earth and all human colonies withdraw from the Galactic Council." Silence fell over the chamber, followed by more laughter. "You cannot be serious," Zorak said between chuckles. "No species has ever left the Council. Where would you go? How would you survive without our trade networks and protection?" "We managed before we met you," Jack said simply. "We will manage again." A lizard delegate stood up. "Without Council authorization, your ships cannot use established jump points. You would be isolated." "We are aware," Jack replied. His voice remained calm, but his eyes were hard as steel. "All human ships and personnel are already returning to Earth space. Our borders will close in 30 days. "This is merely a tantrum," Zorak declared. "Humans will come crawling back within a year when your economies collapse." Jack and Admiral Wright turned to leave. At the chamber door, Jack paused and looked back. For centuries, humanity dreamed of meeting other intelligent life among the stars. We imagined friends, teachers, and allies. Instead, we found politics, greed, and indifference. Admiral Wright added, "You mistake our diplomacy for weakness, our patience for dependence. You will learn differently." As they walked out, the Council chamber filled with dismissive chatter. No one noticed the small, satisfied smile that briefly crossed Jack's face. The Council would miss humanity soon enough, and by then, it would be too late. 3 months after leaving the Council, Earth buzzed with activity. Ships returned daily from distant stars. In the orbital shipyards above the blue planet, Workers added new weapons to old vessels. President Elaine Martinez stood at the window of her office overlooking Washington, D.C. The city looked peaceful from up here, but she knew better. Every nation on Earth worked overtime preparing for what might come. A knock sounded at her door. "Enter," she said. Dr. Samuel Jones walked in carrying a tablet. His white lab coat showed wrinkles from too many hours of work without rest. Behind him came Kevin Harris, a man with sharp eyes who rarely smiled. As Earth's top intelligence officer, smiling wasn't part of his job. "Madam President," Dr. Jones said, "the Sentinel project is ahead of schedule. We've improved the design beyond our initial goals." President Martinez nodded. "Show me." Dr. Jones placed his tablet on her desk. A hologram appeared showing a small device no bigger than a coin. "This is Sentinel Mark V. Once deployed, it can shut down any ship using Council technology. No weapons, no engines, no life support." "And they cannot detect it?" the President asked. "No, it uses technology the Council races never developed. Their sensors cannot see what they don't understand." Kevin Harris stepped forward. "We've mapped every Council world, every fleet position, and every weakness. If they decide to attack, we can end the fight before it begins." President Martinez walked back to the window. "I don't want to destroy them, Mr. Harris. I just want them to leave us alone." "With respect, Madam President, they may not give us that choice," Harris said. "Our spies report the Council is already feeling our absence. Medical supplies are running low on 17 worlds. Without human doctors and medicine, death rates are rising." "Let them come to us then," the President said. "When they do, we negotiate from strength, not desperation." Dr. Jones cleared his throat. "There's something else you should know. The long-range sensors we placed before leaving Council space have detected unusual activity near the galactic core." "The Cenavore?" Martins asked sharply. "We can't be certain yet, but the pattern matches our predictions." The President closed her eyes briefly. "How long?" 2 years, maybe less before they reach Council space," Harris answered. "The Council still doesn't know they exist." "Because we've been quietly fighting them for decades," Martins sighed, "keeping them contained while the Council ignored our warnings." A new voice spoke from the doorway. "Perhaps we should let nature take its course." They turned to see Admiral Lisa Wright, recently returned from Centauri Prime. "Admiral, that would mean billions of deaths," the President said. "Yes, but the Council would finally understand why humans are not to be dismissed." Wright walked into the room. "All human colonies are now evacuated from Council space. Our borders are sealed. The communications blackout is complete." "And the Council's reaction?" Martins asked. Wright smiled without humor. "They're calling it the human tantrum. They expect us to beg for readmission within months." "Their arrogance is stunning," Harris muttered. "No," Wright corrected. "Their ignorance is. They never bothered to learn what humanity truly is. They saw our diplomacy as weakness, our cooperation as submission. They never asked why a young species advanced so quickly." Dr. Jones tapped his tablet, changing the hologram to show the galaxy. Red dots appeared at the edge of the center region. "The Cenavore expand daily," he said quietly. "Without humanity standing guard, there's nothing to stop them from consuming everything in their path." President Martinez looked at the map for a long moment. "Continue the preparations. When the Council finally calls for help, we'll be ready to answer. On our terms." As the others left, Martinez remained by the window. In the sky above, the stars were coming out. Somewhere up there, the Council worlds continued their normal lives, unaware that the clock was ticking. Soon, they would understand what it meant to lose humanity's protection. 1 year passed since humans left the Council. The effects rippled through the galaxy like unseen waves. Gloria Chen walked through the busy market on Traxxas Prime, hood pulled low over her face. Once she had served as a human liaison officer here. Now she moved in shadows, watching and listening. Alien vendors argued with customers over prices. Goods that once cost little now required small fortunes. 600 credits for medicine that was 50 last year. A four-armed alien shouted at a vendor. "Not my fault," the vendor hissed. "No human supplies means everything costs more. Take it or leave it." Gloria moved on, recording everything in her hidden devices. Earth needed to know how bad things were getting. At the spaceport, she spotted Trembled, an insectoid trader she once knew. His chitinous face couldn't show emotion, but his drooping antennae told her enough. "The shipping routes are dangerous now." Trembled clicked to another trader. "3 of my vessels lost to pirates this month alone. The human patrols used to keep the lanes safe. The Council fleet is useless," the other trader grumbled. "They only protect core worlds and Council officials." Gloria slipped away, heading to her meeting point. In an abandoned warehouse, she activated the secure channel. The air shimmered as a hologram appeared. Captain Daniel Green aboard the stealth ship USV Sparrow, hiding in orbit. "Report," Green said simply. "Economic collapse is accelerating," Gloria said. "Medical systems in chaos without human supplies. 30% of outer worlds face food shortages. Pirates control most of the trade routes now." Green nodded. "Similar reports from all sectors. The Council still refuses to admit there's a crisis. They blame everything on temporary adjustments. But common people know better. They're asking where the humans went." Green touched something off-screen. "We've picked up Council ships approaching Earth space. Looks like diplomats, not warships. They're coming to negotiate already." Gloria seemed surprised. "Sooner than expected," Green admitted, "but right on schedule for Phase 3. Across the galaxy, on the luxury world of Nueva Valencia, Council members gathered in emergency session. The Grand Chamber, once a place of calm debate, now echoed with angry voices. 30 medical centers shut down last week, shouted a delegate from Proxima Centauri. Trade is down 60% in the Orient sector, added another. Zorak, the Centaurian leader, banged his gavel uselessly. His once bright blue skin had dulled to gray from stress. "The humans will return when their isolation becomes unbearable," he insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. A tall, thin alien rose to speak. Ambassador Lithmar of the Solari had always been friendly with humans. "You misunderstand the situation," Lithmar said calmly. "Humans are not suffering. Our spy drones show they are thriving. Their worlds are protected by technology we cannot penetrate. Meanwhile, our worlds fall into chaos." "What do you suggest?" Zorak asked bitterly. "I have sent envoys to Earth requesting new negotiations. We must admit our mistake and—" "Admit nothing," roared a reptilian delegate. "Humans need us more than we need them." Lithmar's expression hardened. "Then explain why your world's death rate has tripled without human medicine, why your ships disappear without human patrols." Silence fell across the chamber. Then a communication officer rushed in. "The Earth envoys have responded to our message," he announced. "Excellent." Zorak straightened. "They are returning to the Council." The officer looked uncomfortable. "No, sir. Their exact message was, 'We are no longer interested in Council affairs.'" Stunned silence filled the room. Lithmar gave a sound like bitter laughter. "They are using our own words against us," he said. "The exact phrase we used when they begged for help against pirates." Far away, in a cloaked ship watching the Council proceedings, Captain Green received Gloria's final report and prepared to return to Earth. The first stage of humanity's plan was complete. Now they would wait for the Council to truly start begging. And soon, they would have no choice. 2 years after leaving the Council, humanity revealed its true strength. General William Carter stood on the bridge of the USV Guardian, the largest warship ever built by human hands. Through the massive view screen, he watched as hundreds of ships appeared from seemingly empty space. One moment there was nothing, the next, an entire fleet materialized. "Ghost Fleet fully visible, sir," reported his second-in-command. "All ships report ready status." For 2 years, humans had built in secret. While the Council thought them hiding behind closed borders, they had been preparing. "Send the signal to all ships," Carter ordered. "Begin Operation Watchman." The massive fleet spread out along the border between human space and Council territory. Once in position, the ships activated their new shield technology, creating a wall of energy that no Council scanner could penetrate. On the science deck of the Guardian, Dr. Rebecca Allen monitored the shields. Her invention would protect humanity from what was coming. For years, she had warned the Council about the threat from the galactic core. They had ignored her research. "Shield wall complete, General," she reported. "Even if they reach us, they cannot break through." "Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Carter replied. On the other side of the border, a Council scout ship approached cautiously. Its commander, Craldor, had been ordered to assess human defenses. The Council finally realized something strange was happening. 2 years of silence from a species once so eager to connect with others had made them nervous. "Scanners detect nothing unusual," Craldor told his crew. "Just empty space at the human border. Their much-feared defense must be a bluff." He ordered his ship forward, crossing into human territory. Instantly, alarms blared on his bridge. Outside the viewports, ships appeared everywhere. His vessel froze in space, caught in an energy field. "We are being hailed," his communications officer said with fear in his voice. Craldor nodded, and a human face appeared on his screen. "Council vessel, you have entered protected space without permission," General Carter said calmly. "Your systems have been temporarily disabled." "By what authority?" Craldor demanded, hiding his shock at the technology that could disable his ship so completely. "By the authority of human safety," Carter replied. "You will be escorted back to Council space. Tell your leaders that the border remains closed." As Craldor's ship was turned around, other events unfolded far away. On a Council world called Cenavore, the first attack came without warning. Dark ships dropped from the sky. Creatures with too many limbs and mouths full of teeth poured into the streets. They consumed everything in their path. People, animals, even plants. Within hours, half the planet was overrun. The Council fleet arrived too late. The attackers, now identified as the Cenavore, had already moved on to the next world. In the Council emergency chamber, panic spread. 3 worlds lost in 2 days, cried one delegate. "These Cenavore appear from nowhere and consume everything." Zorak, now looking old and tired, turned to his advisors. "How could such a threat exist without our knowledge?" A junior aide stepped forward nervously. "Sir, I found something in the old archives." The humans submitted reports about the Cenavore 10 times over the past 30 years. Every report was classified as unverified and ignored. Silence fell over the chamber. "They knew," someone whispered. The humans knew this was coming. Back on the USV Guardian, General Carter received the first reports of the Cenavore attacks. He turned to Dr. Allen. "It's happening exactly as we predicted," he said quietly. "Should we help them?" she asked. Carter shook his head. "Not yet." President Martinez was clear. "We wait until they ask. Properly this time." Throughout human space, soldiers prepared. Scientists finalized weapons specifically designed to fight the Cenavore. They had been ready for years, waiting for this moment. And in Council space, worlds burned as a terrible realization spread. They had driven away the only species that could save them. 3 years after humans left, the Galactic Council called an emergency session. 27 worlds had fallen to the Cenavore. Billions were dead. Fear filled the Grand Chamber where once there had been only pride and politics. Zorak stood at the center platform. His blue skin had turned almost gray. His hand shook as he addressed the delegates. "The Cenavore advance continues despite our best efforts. Our weapons barely slow them down. At the current rate, they will reach the core worlds within 6 months." Murmurs of panic spread through the room. A delegate stood up. What about the humans? Have we asked for their help? Zorak looked down. We have sent 12 messages to Earth. They have not responded. The chamber doors suddenly opened. All heads turned to see a single human walking in. Ambassador Frank Peterson wore a simple black uniform with no medals or rank symbols. He walked calmly to the visitors' podium. Ambassador Peterson, Zorak said, surprise in his voice. We did not expect. I am not an ambassador, Peterson interrupted. I am an observer. Earth has sent me to witness these proceedings. Hope filled many faces in the room. Then Earth knows of our situation. They will help us, asked a delegate. Peterson's face remained neutral. Earth has been aware of the Cenavore threat for 53 years. We have been monitoring their movements and containing their expansion long before we joined the Council. Stunned silence filled the chamber. Why did you not share this information? Demanded Zorak. We did, Peterson replied. 17 formal reports were submitted to this council. All were dismissed as human exaggeration or insufficient evidence. We showed you proof. You chose not to see it. No one spoke for several moments. Then Zorak asked the question everyone feared to ask. Will Earth help us now? Peterson touched a device on his wrist. A hologram appeared, showing President Martinez. Greetings, council members, she said. We have received your requests for assistance against the Cenavore threat. Thank the stars, someone whispered. Earth is willing to help, Martinez continued, under the following conditions. First, all human worlds and colonies will be recognized as sovereign territory, outside council jurisdiction. Second, reparations will be paid for the attack on Proxima B and other human colonies that suffered while under council protection. Zorak straightened his shoulders. The council does not respond to demands. Third, Martinez continued as if he hadn't spoken. The council will acknowledge that it was warned about the Cenavore threat and fail to act. The official record will be corrected. Elizabeth Mitchell, Earth's intelligence director, appeared beside the president in the hologram. You have 6 hours to decide, Mitchell said. The Cenavore will reach Centauri Prime in 14 days. Without our help, it will fall like all the others. The hologram vanished. Peterson stood silently, waiting. Arguing erupted in the chamber. Some delegates wanted to refuse what they called human blackmail. Others begged for reason. Ambassador Lithmar of the Solari rose to speak. What choice do we have? Our fleet is in ruins. Our people are dying. If the humans can stop this nightmare, we must accept their terms and become second-class citizens in our own galaxy, hissed a reptilian delegate. Better than becoming extinct, Lithmar replied. 5 hours and 58 minutes later, the council voted. With trembling hands, Zorak signed the agreement. Peterson nodded once and sent the confirmation to Earth. In orbit around Earth, massive warships began powering up. Soldiers boarded transport vessels. Weapon systems designed specifically to kill Cenavore were loaded onto carriers. In her office, President Martinez turned to Admiral Wright. Begin Operation Aegis, she ordered. Save who we can, but remember our primary mission. Contain the Cenavore at any cost, Wright confirmed, and make sure the Council never forgets who saved them. As human ships jumped into faster-than-light travel across the galaxy, the Council worlds watched the skies with desperate hope. The species they had dismissed as young and insignificant was now their only chance for survival. The war room deep beneath the Rocky Mountains on Earth buzzed with activity. Maps and holograms showed the positions of human ships and Cenavore swarms across the galaxy. Admiral Jason Turner stood at the center table, studying the battle plans. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his eyes missed nothing. Beside him, Secretary Nicole Rodriguez pointed to a cluster of red dots near the Centauri systems. The main Cenavore fleet is gathering here, she said. They seem to be preparing for a push toward the Council core worlds. Classic hunting behavior, said Dr. Alan Wilson, the leading human expert on Cenavore biology. He adjusted his glasses as he explained. They're not just mindless eaters. They herd their prey into tight groups before the final feast. Admiral Turner nodded. And we can use that against them. He pressed a button, and the holographic display changed to show the sole defense grid. Thousands of satellites and battle stations formed a web around human space. This is why we left the Council, Turner told the assembled commanders. We needed time to build this without interference or spies. The door opened, and President Martinez entered. Everyone stood straighter. The first Cenavore scouts have been detected approaching Ta City, she announced. It's time. Turner turned to his fleet commanders. Deploy Phase 1. Remember, this is not about saving the Council. This is about ending a threat we've contained for decades. Across human space, massive ships detached from their docking stations. Some were so large they blocked out the sun when they passed over colonies. But despite their size, they moved with surprising grace. On the bridge of the flagship USV Liberty, Admiral Turner took command. All ships, activate Ghost Protocol, he ordered. One by one, the human vessels vanished from view. Not just from sensors, but from sight itself. Technology the Council had never imagined possible. Secretary Rodriguez joined Turner on the bridge. The Council is panicking, she reported. 3 more of their worlds fell yesterday. They're demanding to know why our ships haven't arrived yet. Turner's mouth twitched. They'll know soon enough. In the research center of the Liberty, Dr. Wilson prepared the Sentinel weapons. After studying the Cenavore for decades, he had created their perfect counter. The pathogen is ready, he told the president through a secure channel. One deployment will infect an entire high ship. It attacks only Cenavore biology and nothing else. Make sure the Council understands that, President Martinez replied. I don't want them claiming we used illegal bioweapons. Near the Tau Ceti system, a Cenavore high ship moved toward an inhabited planet. The massive vessel resembled a twisted coral reef, organic and irregular. Inside, millions of Cenavore prepared to feast. Suddenly, the high ship shuddered. Something had locked onto it. The human fleet appeared from nowhere, surrounding the high ship. Smaller craft launched from the larger vessels, each carrying Sentinel deployment teams. Target locked, reported a human officer, preparing to breach their hull. On a Council observation post, alien watchers stared in disbelief. Where did they come from? Gasped a Centaurian officer. Our sensors showed nothing until they were right on top of the high ship. The human ships fired, not with energy weapons or missiles, but with precisely targeted beams that cut into the high ship's hull. Special Forces teams in advanced battle suits entered the breaches. Inside the high ship, Commander Ryan Cooper led his team through the organic corridors. The smell was terrible, but their suits filtered the air. Plant the Sentinel charges at the nerve clusters, he ordered, just like we practiced. The Cenavore swarmed toward them, all teeth and claws. Human weapons fired, cutting them down efficiently. Charges set, reported a soldier. Detonation in 30 seconds. The teams withdrew as quickly as they had entered. Behind them, the Sentinel devices activated, releasing the pathogen into the high ship's air systems. From the Liberty, Admiral Turner watched as the high ship's movement became erratic. Within an hour, all activity inside had ceased. First target neutralized, he announced to Earth, moving to Phase 2. Across the galaxy, Council races watched in amazement as news spread of the first Cenavore defeat. For 3 years, nothing had stopped them. Now, in a single battle, humans had destroyed an entire high ship. Hope began to replace fear, but with that hope came a new feeling. The uneasy realization of just how powerful humanity had become. The battle for Centauri Prime raged in the black emptiness of space. 3 massive Cenavore high ships approached the planet, each carrying millions of hungry creatures. Against them stood 7 human warships. The size difference seemed laughable, yet the Council races were no longer laughing. Commander Ryan Cooper watched from the bridge of the USV Defiant as his ship moved into position. Behind him, crews worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. "Target the lead high ship," he ordered. "Prepare Sentinel deployment." The Defiant fired, its advanced weapons cutting through the Cenavore's organic armor like it was paper. Similar attacks came from the other human vessels. The high ships tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't lock onto the human ships. The Ghost Protocol made them nearly impossible to target. On the planet below, Council races watched the battle through telescopes and sensors. Many had doubted the humans could protect them. Now they saw the truth. "Their tactics are amazing," said a Centaurian general to his staff. 7 ships against 3 high ships, and they're winning. In the field hospital on Centauri Prime, Dr. Maria Davis worked quickly to save alien lives. Thousands had been injured when the Cenavore sent advance forces to the surface before the human fleet arrived. "This medicine will help with the pain," she told a wounded Solari as she injected him. The alien's eyes widened in surprise. "The pain is gone." "How?" "Our doctors tried for weeks." Dr. Davis smiled slightly. "Human medicine has advanced a bit since we left the Council." More wounded arrived. Many aliens stared at the humans with a mixture of gratitude and fear. For years, they had thought of humans as primitive. Now these primitives were saving them with technology they couldn't understand. Outside the hospital, Captain Sophia Ward directed her troops as they hunted down the remaining Cenavore on the surface. Her soldiers moved with practiced precision, using weapons specifically designed to kill the creatures without damaging the surroundings. Team 2, clear the eastern sector, she commanded through her comm unit. Team 3, protect the civilian shelters. A Centaurian officer approached her, his posture stiff. "Captain, my soldiers are ready to assist you," he said formally. Captain Ward nodded. "Have them follow these protocols." She transferred battle plans to his device. These tactics work best against Cenavore ground forces. The Centaurian studied the plans, his eyes growing wider. "These are very effective strategies. We've been fighting them for decades," Ward said simply. "While the Council ignored our warnings, we were learning how to kill them." In orbit, the battle reached its climax. Human ships surrounded the last high ship. Their weapons had disabled its engines and weapons. Now special teams breached the hull to plant Sentinel devices inside. Commander Cooper received the signal that the teams had returned safely. "Detonate the Sentinels," he ordered. Inside the high ship, the devices released their deadly payload. The pathogen spread quickly through the air systems. Within minutes, the Cenavore began to die by the thousands. Cooper watched his screens as the high ship's life signs faded away. "Another victory. USV Defiant to Earth Command," he reported. "Centauri Prime is secure. All Cenavore forces neutralized." Across the galaxy, the pattern repeated. Human forces established command centers on key worlds. They shared their anti-Cenavore protocols with local forces, teaching Council races how to fight effectively. In the Council chamber on Centauri Prime, now serving as a human military headquarters, Zorak watched with mixed emotions as human officers directed the defense of the galaxy. "You've saved us," he admitted to Ambassador Peterson. "But at what cost? Humans now control everything." Peterson looked at him steadily. "Not control. Protection. There's a difference, one the Council never understood. On dozens of worlds, alien citizens watched human ships patrol their skies. Some felt relief. Others felt unease. All understood one thing. The galaxy had changed forever. The species they had dismissed had become their saviors. And now, whether they liked it or not, humanity led the way forward. 5 years after leaving the Council, humanity hosted a new gathering. Not in the old Council chambers on Centauri Prime, but on Earth. The great powers of the galaxy came not as rulers, but as guests. The new Galactic Summit took place in a massive crystal dome overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The building had been constructed in less than a month using technology the Council races still did not understand. President Elaine Martinez stood at the central podium. Gray now touched her hair, but her eyes remained sharp and clear. Beside her stood Admiral Lisa Wright, now Supreme Commander of the Combined Forces. Her uniform bore the new emblem of the Human Alliance. "Welcome to Earth," President Martinez addressed the gathered representatives. "5 years ago, we left the Galactic Council because we were not treated as equals. Today, we invite you to join a new alliance, one built on mutual respect and shared security." The alien delegates murmured among themselves. Many looked uncertain. Some seemed afraid. Zorak, still representing the Centaurians though no longer council leader, rose to speak. "The galaxy owes humanity a debt we cannot repay," he admitted. "Without your intervention, the Cenavore would have consumed us all. But many worlds fear this new human alliance will simply replace the council with human rule." President Martinez nodded. "A fair concern. That is why the Sol protocols will guide our new relationship." Admiral Wright activated a holographic display showing the alliance structure. The Sol protocols establish joint defense, open trade, and shared technology, she explained. All member worlds maintain their independence while contributing to common security. Humans will train your forces in Cenavore defense tactics, but we will not station troops on your worlds without permission. A Solari delegate stood. "What about the advanced technology humans kept hidden from the Council? Will that be shared now?" Martinez smiled slightly. "Some will. Some won't. Just as your species keeps certain secrets, so will we. But we will share medical technology, defense systems, and faster-than-light drive improvements immediately." In the observation gallery, former council members watched with mixed emotions. Some had lost their positions after the truth about their dismissal of human warnings came to light. The people of their worlds had demanded accountability. "The vote will now begin," announced President Martinez. "Each world must decide whether to join the human alliance or remain independent." One by one, the representatives cast their votes. Despite lingering pride and fear, the result was inevitable. With the Cenavore threat still not fully eliminated, no one wanted to stand alone. The alliance was formed with Earth at its center. Later that evening, President Martinez stood with Admiral Wright on a balcony overlooking the celebration. "Did we go too far?" Martinez asked quietly. "Some say we manipulated events to ensure human dominance." Wright considered her answer carefully. "We warned them about the Cenavore for decades. They chose not to listen. We offered friendship as equals. They chose to treat us as children. When danger came, we could have left them to their fate. But we didn't," Martinez said. "No, because that's not who we are." Wright looked up at the stars. "Humans spent centuries dreaming of a galactic community. We just made sure it's one where everyone is treated with respect. Below them, humans mingled with aliens from 100 worlds. Cautious friendships formed. The wounds of the past began to heal." In the sky above Earth, the combined fleet of the new alliance held its first joint exercise. Ships of many designs flew in formation, human vessels at the center teaching new tactics. The universe had learned an important lesson. Humans had never been the weaker species, they had been the patient guardians. They had waited, watched, and when needed, they had acted. Humanity had deserted the Council, and in doing so, they had saved the galaxy.